Welcome to Musings of a Watch Collector, a carefully curated channel of all my timepieces. I will be showcasing each piece in detail to understand its historical and cultural significance. Let me take you on a horological journey that covers watchmakers from around the world, both past and present. So join me on my meanderings, Musings of a Watch Collector. Hello everyone, I'm Michael and welcome back to another episode of Musings of a Watch Collector. This week we're going to be looking at two of my favourite passions, horology and art. Fortunately, within the Japanese culture, both of these things are very compatible, like a good wine and a bold cheese. We're going to be taking a look at my Seiko SKX007 and Hokusai's The Great Wave of Kanagawa, which just happens to also feature as the dial on my SKX007. This is my only modded watch in my collection thus far. As this is my first episode on a Seiko, let's again cover off a brief history of this iconic Japanese watchmaker. Japan, the land of the rising sun, is regarded as one of the most technologically advanced and innovative countries, and it still is today. This innovation extends to all facets of society and even extends to your wrist. Let's head back in time to Tokyo in 1881, towards the end of the 19th century, where Kintaro Hattori, at the age of 21, set up a workshop in Tokyo to service and sell clocks and pocket watches. At the age of 31, he then opened and established the Sakosha watch factory. In 1895, they created their first pocket watch called the Timekeeper. This was an important first step towards developing their first wristwatch. They did this and released the Laurel in 1913. This was a simple mechanical movement for a three-hander. These are just some of the early important horological developments in Seiko's history. And as this year they mark 140 years, I'll do a separate episode focusing on the details of Seiko's history. In 1965, Seiko released its first 115-meter dive watch. 2 years later, in 1967, it released its first 300-meter dive watch. In the 1970s, Seiko's dive watches continued to grow in popularity, with iconic models such as the Captain Willard and the Turtle. Another important Seiko release was the 1978 150-meter dive watch, reference 7548. This would be used as the basis for the design of the legendary SKX007, which in my mind is still one of the most affordable Seiko dive watches. In 1975, Seiko released their first professional dive watch, which was developed with more than 20 key patented features. This dive watch would reach a depth of more than 600 meters. This was very popular among diving enthusiasts and was affectionately known as the Gold Tuna. It was in 1996 that Seiko releases the first SKX007. Mine is reference 7S260020 with a 7S25B automatic movement. It has 21 joules and runs at 21,600 beats per hour or 3 Hz. Due to this, the second hand has a sweeping movement and glides nicely across the dial. It has up to 40 hours of power reserve. It operates on a traditional mainspring and is a non-hacking movement. The durability of this movement is solid, as it can operate in an environment ranging from -10 to 60 degrees Celsius. It is water resistant to 200 meters, and the movement is housed in a 42mm case. The height of the case comes in under 13 millimeters. That's a summary of the 7S25B, a Seiko movement that's extremely durable and one that just works. Now let's look at some of the modifications that makes this watch literally an artistic statement. The dial is aftermarket that features a portion of the Great Wave of Kanagawa by famed Japanese artist Hokusai. Other modifications include the Batman colored bezel, which is one directional, as well as black indices on a white minute tracker, white and silver markers on the dial, and a flat hardlex crystal. It also has a day and day complication at the 3 o'clock, and the crown along with guards at 4 o'clock. The bracelet is an attractive, aftermarket Seiko Angus Jubilee that is contrastingly brushed It has a folding clasp with a safety, the latter being signed Seiko. This watch is clearly full of character, and how fitting to have such an iconic Japanese artwork feature on a Japanese diver's watch. I don't usually wear or collect many diver's watches, as you may know, and the only other diver's watch I have is my Omega Seamaster Jacques Mayol edition. What makes this watch special is definitely the dial. Hokusai commissioned the Great Wave off Kanagawa more than 180 years ago. To me, this artwork symbolizes the force of nature. As we know, in Japan, they are constantly faced with the adversity of tsunamis and subsequent earthquakes along their coastlines. The artwork also symbolizes for me the resilience of the Japanese people. And the Great Wave evokes courage and strength. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the Great Wave of Kanagawa when it exhibited in Victoria at the National Gallery of Victoria in 2017. But I do intend to visit the Sumida Hokusai Museum and of course the Seiko Museum in Tokyo once COVID settles down. Feel free to comment below and let me know which Seiko divers you have. If you've liked my video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Also check out my official website and Instagram, links are below. I'm Michael, signing off for Musings of a Watch Collector, and I'll see you next time.